Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me for another special health focus. Welcome back to my kitchen, and I am actually using a different computer than I'm used to using, so you can see the dimensions are a little different, but let's see how we get on with it. Let's take right hand in fist and left hand straight, pull back that thumb, bring the feet together, bring the hands together, and we salute. Lovely. Okay, so let's open our stance. So in this class, we have started on a set called, a whole system called Chen style Tai Chi. I hope you can see me clearly here. I'm just wondering of the clarity of the camera, but we'll keep going for now. Yeah, so Chen style Tai Chi. Chen style is about 400 years old, and certainly in our system, we consider it the origin of Tai Chi. It's where it all started. So the main styles of Tai Chi, 5 main styles, Chen, Yang, Wu, and Sun, all come from Chen style. And practitioners in the other styles of Tai Chi tend to make a pilgrimage back to Chen Jiaogou at some stage and learn a bit of Chen style because it's the origin, and therefore it has core principles that really help with any style of Tai Chi. Good, let's change direction, please. As we mentioned last week, warm-up is really essential. And actually, you can use it as standalone training just to generally keep your body happy and healthy. And this one is what we call the vertical spiral. So though we're gently feeding the hips into the 4 corners, we're allowing the movement to flow up and down through the whole body. So can you see the difference that I'm not keeping my body straight? I'm actually tipping slightly. If you see it from the side, maybe you can see it easier. So as my hips go back, my upper body goes forwards, and as my hips go forwards, my upper body goes back. It's a little bit like a seesaw, but with a sideways movement. Good. So if you struggle with that exercise, don't worry. You're not alone. It's actually quite a difficult one, but play with it. Let's go back to center, and now we'll do movement 2, which is very similar, but this time, can you see the difference? I'm maintaining an upright posture, but I'm feeding into the 4 corners of the hips. So that's the similarity, but the whole body remains as a unit, staying upright. So this is called the horizontal spiral or horizontal circle or square. You're going into the 4 corners of the hips. Make sure that you're keeping your movement quite small. It's contained within the hips. Or another way to think of this one, to keep it contained, is you're not going beyond the base of your feet. So as you do this exercise, feel down into your feet and notice the weight shifting. And as you feel the weight shifting, hopefully you can feel where the edges are of the feet. And so you know not to go beyond that, you know not to push out beyond your feet. So that's a useful wee technique, but let's keep it contained within the hips and just refer to the feet as necessary. So let's change direction for that one. And these exercises, as I mentioned last week, I want you to do a lot. So if you're wondering, well, how do I remember my Tai Chi? It's all very complex. Or if you're getting a bit lost with complex movements, don't worry about them. Just practice these. Do this every day. Do it as a regime, like cleaning your teeth. So you can start with 30 squares in each direction, but I want you to ramp it up. So each day do a little bit more. For example, you could do this after a meal, which would be very nice because it's gentle but it would be helping to lower your glucose spike because you're moving gently. So it would help you with digestion, and it's a nice little bit of exercise. It would help you with your general, what's the word? Oh, I can't remember the word. Oh, I nearly had it. Oh, isn't it awful when you forget the word? Can't remember. Metabolism, that's the one. So it helps with your metabolism. But you could watch television and do this exercise. So the only thing that we want to remember is that it's important to do the same amount on both sides. So don't do 500 on one side and then stop. Whatever number you do on one side, then do the same amount on the other side. So you could time it. You don't have to be so accurate with numbers, but just do the same amount of time on both sides. Good, let's shake out. I'm saying that, I wasn't counting, I was talking, so hopefully we did something similar. Now, we're going to place the balls of the foot on the floor and swirl, send a little circle down through the legs. Good. So nice and relaxed, and change direction. Everything in Tai Chi, really, we want to be very relaxed. And I know it seems like a contradiction because we're wanting to guide and control our bodies. Shake out, please. But we want to guide and control the body through relaxation. So if you feel that you're holding tension, if you feel anything's uncomfortable or tight, then you're doing it wrong. It needs to be loose and relaxed. So you're sending a spiral one way, and then let's change direction and send the spiral the other way as well. So why, you might ask, why does it have to be so relaxed? Well, Tai Chi is known as a soft or, sorry, I'm just realizing my little microphone light is not on. Oh, just give me 1 second. Don't know what that's about. Okay, well, we'll just leave it and hopefully it's okay today. Anyway, yes, why are we so concerned about making everything soft and relaxed? Well, Tai Chi is known as a soft martial art or an internal martial art. Let's open our stance, please, and sit down a little bit. And remember, when we sit down, we want to sit back and down. Let me show you from the side. So we sit back and down. Do you see the way my body actually went back? But it wasn't going back this way or this way, but just the whole upper body goes back a little bit. We want to do that so that we don't put pressure on our knees. So we sit back and down a little bit. Good. Okay, so let's turn the waist and gently pat. Yeah, so when we're relaxed, our energy can flow. Now, that helps our systems function on every level. So that means that our mind is happier. It means that our body is happier. And it means that the energy can flow and feed all of the tissues in our system. So our physical function works better. So relaxation is absolutely key to well-being. Just before we started the class, we were talking about the unfortunate effects of being overly stressed. Good. Okay, and let's come up. We can just walk our feet gently in, and we can continue that movement, but much softer, much more gentle. So when we're doing our Tai Chi, we want to encourage everything to be as soft and as relaxed as possible. And that means that energy will flow. That means that we will release tension. And it means that our bodies, our mind, our energy will all work so much better. So let your arms be very, very loose, relaxed, as if they don't exist. You're not thinking of the arms in this movement. You're just very gently turning in your center. So this is a center movement. It's not an arm movement. And this is a really good exercise to help with that letting go and softening. We want to feel into the hands and fingers, but we don't want the tension. Very good. All right, well done. So we're going to go back into a slightly wider stance. And now we're going to do an exercise for strengthening those legs. So yes, in strength exercises, we also want to be relaxed. But what you will find is when you are using your legs quite strongly, they will become firm. So it's not that they should be, floppy. They will actually fill with energy and therefore they will feel firm. But that doesn't mean they're not relaxed. We want to keep relaxing. So again, we sit back and down, and we're going to think of one leg to begin with, and we're circling inwards, like so. So if I come a little bit further, oops, I'm cutting off my feet. But anyway, I'm circling out, forwards, in and back, out, forwards, in and back. Now that's my start point for this exercise and how to do it. But actually, you'll notice that both hips are moving. But you can see from my hands, can't you? One hip goes forwards, and then the other hip goes forwards as the first hip starts to go back. So this has been misnamed as a figure of eight. It's not a figure of eight. It's just two circles of each side of the hips, and they're not quite at the same time. So one hip circles and then the other in the same direction. Good. And let's change direction. So again, we can start with one side hip going out, forwards, in and back, out, forwards, in and back. And once you've got that feeling, then notice, again, it's one hip and then the other in a sort of circle, 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 circle. The second side just, the other hip does it automatically. You don't have to worry about it, but it's good to be aware of what it's doing. Good. Well done. Lovely. And up you come. So that exercise is as much a brain teaser as it is a physical exercise. But again, in general, I find that if you don't think about it and you just do it, you're going to get a lot further, a lot quicker than if you try to work it out. Tai Chi is not an academic practice. It's a physical practice. It is a practice of doing. So just do it, do your best, and observe rather than try to make it an exercise for your mind, because the mind just gets in the way more often than not. Let's kick forwards and step down. So both feet are parallel, and we cycle forwards and back. And breathe. Very good. Now let's bring the hands to just above the knee. So we're not on the kneecap itself, we're above the knee on the bottom of the upper leg. And we're going to press a little bit gently down. If I show you from the side, press down into the leg and feel the pressure going into the foot. And then very gently, we start to ease the weight back and fold forwards. And we just want a nice stretch. Don't force it, Keep breathing. Good. And recover. And up you come. Lovely. Well done. A little shake out. And the same thing on the other side. So feet parallel. We kick. We step down. And we go forwards and back. Gently does it. If you've been sat at a desk all day, you may find that your muscles have got a bit tight, or just they need a wee bit of waking up before you ask them to do anything. So this is what we're doing. We're giving them a little wake up. Good. Let's feed the weight back. And the front knee is still slightly bent, hands just above the knee. We start by pressing down into the foot and then very gently glide the weight back, folding forwards from the hips. Doesn't matter if you get the legs straight, but we do want a feeling of stretch. Lovely. Well done. And up you come. Good stuff. Easing from your stance, we can have a little shake out. That's the official Chen style warm-up complete. I'd like to do a little bit for the waist today, just because so many organs can benefit by twisting the waist. So we're going to do a little row the boat action where we bend the knees. We sit down as we row in. Good. And then we're going to twist the waist as we do it and do a double twist. So the first time just gives your body the idea, and the second time you can go a little bit further. So 1 and a bigger 1, 2. 1 and a bigger 1, 2. Breathe and relax. Good. And let's go one at a time. Make sure those knees remain pointing forwards. Good. Now, this seems a simple exercise, doesn't it? And yet there are lots of variations. So if you look forwards and keep looking at me as you do this exercise, you'll notice you get an extra twist in the spine. So that's one exercise variation. The second one, I think you were already doing, is when you're turning your waist, you let your head move with. That's a nice neutral version. And the third version, you can actually look behind you, over your shoulder as you twist. So you're turning your head the same direction as you twist, but you're turning your head further, and that gives you the biggest twist. Good, let's come back to center. Well done, and relax down. Lovely, we exercise generally to get the energy flowing. So we talk about this a lot, don't we? This helps your energy flow. This helps your energy flow. It does. There are many, many ways to help your energy flow. So what have we covered today so far to help your energy flow? Relaxation, movement, stretching, twisting. So lots of different ways. Just by relaxing, your energy will flow easier. But if you add relaxation and movement, you've got a magical combination. So then if we add a twist, we are helping our body to release any stagnation and blockage that may have occurred, that may have gone on. Rather like wringing out a towel or a face cloth. When you let go of the twist, fresh blood and energy flow in and wash away toxins. So it's a very useful detox to do twisting exercises. But as always, there should be a little bit of caution, because say, if, example, you've just been sick and you do a lot of twisting, you may really get quite the detox, and you could actually feel a bit yuck for a day as all that toxicity flushes out of your system. Just as if you've had a massage, they may warn you, look, you might feel worse before you feel better, because these exercises are used to stimulate cleansing of your system. So if you've just gone through a flu or whatever it may be, an infection, doing these twisting exercises are very good. They're very useful but do them in moderation. Do a little bit every day rather than doing hundreds all in one go. You just don't want to overdo it. Okay, so let us move on now to our main section of the form, which is silk reeling. And I did promise that we would look, excuse me a sec, I did promise that we would look a little bit at standing practice today. Now I'm only going to introduce standing practice today, so a few seconds. Sometimes people say to me, standing practice is not appropriate for my condition. And it may be true, there are some conditions that it's maybe too intense or it just doesn't suit. But in general, even a short stand, and I mean 10 seconds could be a short stand. The Chen family called 20 minutes a short stand, but you know, it's a sliding scale. But doing a little bit of standing can actually be very beneficial, in my opinion, for everyone. However, if you feel you know better because you know your body better than I do, that's absolutely fair, in which case you could do seated practice. So I encourage you, if standing freaks you out, do seated. You know, you've your whole life ahead of you to do standing practice, you can build up to it. And if seated practice is too much, because it may be, you might have just had a really horrible flu, for example, and sitting could be a bit much, then you can actually do this practice lying in bed. So I'm giving you those options. Please pay attention to your needs today. As you're watching this video, what does it feel right for you to do? You will know, as I say, more than I do, what you're capable of today, so please don't force it. Having said that, we're only going to do a few seconds today, so let's see how we get on. First practice is Wuji. Wuji means nothingness, the big zero. So you're doing nothing, you're just being, but being in good posture. So we feel the top of the head float up, the chin slightly down and back, and we breathe and calm down. Wash your awareness from the top of your head all the way down through the body, front, back and sides, all the way down through the legs, into the feet and into the floor. Calming down and listening behind. Now you could take 5 minutes doing just that. So if you wish, you can actually pause the video and take as long as you like in Wuji, just calming, breathing, listening. When you're feeling ready, you can pop the video back on, and then we release through the belly, the hips and the knees. Now I'm going to mirror this for you. So I'd actually like you to fill your right foot, empty your left foot and step open. So place the toes, place the foot and shift the weight. And I want you to look down and check that your feet are shoulder width and level. Then check your posture again, top of the head floating up, chin slightly down and back. Let your body release, hanging down. So it should feel like you're a heavy coat on a clothes hanger. Everything is soft, relaxed, and heavy. Find your fingers, gently stretch them down and float them forwards and up as if you're holding a cushion against your body. And breathe. And from that position, you want to check your alignment. Head is straight, shoulders are level, hips are level, body is heavy. You're not storing or holding tension in any part. Just keep feeling, listening and letting go. And there you can stand as long as you can comfortably. So it might be in your first attempt, you've had enough. Even the setup can actually be exhausting if you've not done this before. But once you get used to it, you can do a few minutes comfortably. If you get any warning signs, if you feel dizzy or sick, it's not that it's bad for you, but you've had enough at the time. So just relax down. So if you ever feel unwell doing standing, don't panic, just stop. Let your arms gently down. Never drop the arms. Never just collapse into a chair. Feed the weight into your right and close left. And recover. Good. And a wee heel tap. Good. So I say never collapse into a chair. If you don't listen to warning signs, if your body is overwhelmed by the practice, then you may need to sit down quick. But try not to flop into a chair. Sit down gently, or I would actually recommend lying down if that's the case. It is just the early stages of practice. We have to learn the signals from our bodies saying that you've done enough. And the signals in standing practice can be really quite alarming. And you might think, well, why is that? We're just standing. Why is it so difficult? Why is it so hard? And this is why in the early stages, some people think, well, it's not for me because I felt dizzy, I felt sick. It's an incredibly powerful practice because it is opening all the little energy gates in your entire body in the best alignment that you can be, which creates a huge amount of energy that flows around your body. So that's very beneficial, but it may be a bit shocking to your system in the first instance, or you might have done it for 6 months, but you're doing it a wee bit more, and all of a sudden it's shocking. So you just need to listen to your body, and when it doesn't feel very good, wrap it up, sit down and rest, or lie down, put your feet up if you're feeling dizzy. If you listen to your body within 10 minutes, even the most faint and uncomfortable sensation will feel fine. So this is not the uncomfortable feelings are not danger. How do you say that? They're not showing danger in themselves, but they are like little messengers saying, if you keep doing this, you're going to be in trouble. And it's the same if you're down the gym and you're using a machine that you're not used to using. You'll feel little warning signs before you go and injure yourself, hopefully. So with standing practice, it is the most powerful exercise you can do. So we need to step into it gently and gradually. It is very, very good for us, but you may just want to do a little bit to begin. Or even like me, I've done a lot of standing practice in my time, but I've spent some time off for my health, really just resting. And so now I have to build up very gradually again as well. So it doesn't matter how much you've done it in the past. If you've had a break from it, you need to start with baby steps again. But I promise you, what we just did there for a couple of minutes is the foundation of Tai Chi and will bring excellent health. It is turning on the energy taps all around the body to help make you very strong and very well. There's a saying in Tai Chi, cotton belly, iron shirt. Cotton belly refers to the softness of relaxing our bodies, very, very relaxed, very soft, nothing kind of rigid. Iron shirt refers to our immune system, that if you do enough standing practice, your immune system will be impenetrable. It will just be golden, so that's very worth doing. But everything in moderation, everything little by little, build it up, because we don't want to exhaust ourselves. That's the other side of it. Okay, so let's do a little bit of silk reeling. Now, last week we did single hand and we just started introducing stepping. Let's start with stepping today. So we'll just have a look. Let's come to one side, and the beginning of every exercise is the same as what we've just done. It's just doing nothing. So we have good posture, top of head lengthening up, chin down and back, release, relax down, and release belly, hips, and knees. Let's bring our hands to waist, or if you prefer, you can just have your hands floating in front of your waist. So what we're going to do is a little twist in the waist, left and right. And that creates a twining, a twisting down through the legs. It allows one leg to release and the other leg to fill. So as you twist to your left, you release your right foot and step with your heel. So the heel hits the ground first and then the foot relaxes down. Try not to hold tension. So it shouldn't be like a peg leg, just very relaxed. Touch the heel, touch the foot down. We twist and that pulls the other foot in, touch the foot down, twist to shift your weight, step with the heel, relax, twist and draw in, foot down, twist and step, twist and in, twist and out. So the twist really helps with your weight transference, twist and out. Good, and let's go on the other direction. So we turn, if you turn to your right, you step to your left. And turn, bring the foot in. Step and step. Step and step. Good, so this would be a really nice wee exercise to practice. Every exercise in Tai Chi brings health benefits. Let's try it again on the other side. Heel touches first, and then the foot relaxes down. Turn. So you're turning away from the direction you're stepping. And keep breathing. So this is very good for strengthening legs, working on your coordination. When you run out of room, change direction. And we start our stepping practice going sideways because we're not used to it. So we're used to walking forwards. So we start by challenging our bodies. Well done, and rest. So if you have a galley kitchen or a little space in your sitting room or your garden or a corridor at work, if no one's watching, you can have a play by stepping up and down. And you will be working on turning your center. You're working on releasing and relaxing, coordination. It's all good. Plenty of repetitions. Silk reeling is all about repetitions. The more repetitions, the better. So often people make the mistake that they will practice until they feel that they have got an exercise, and then they'll put it aside and say, what's next? But actually in Tai Chi, we refer back again and again and again to these simple exercises because they contain all there is in the complex moves. So if we keep repeating the simple, it will be effortless. So putting two simple moves together will be no problem. Whereas if we don't practice the building blocks, when it comes to the complex stuff, it's very difficult. Okay, so now let's look at the arm movement. We're going to do single, silk reeling, and then we'll add the stepping, what we've just done. Okay, so we're going to use your left hand. Again, I'm mirroring, that's it. So this is your left, yes. So we lengthen up, chin slightly down and back. Take a breath, release through the body, release belly, hips and knees. Take your right hand to waist. This is my left hand, your right hand to waist. Left hand extends forwards. Look to your left and step open. Good, so both feet are pointing forwards and we have space underneath our arms. Be careful never to, you see that's kind of closed. Don't close the arm, but rather have an item of fruit of your choice under each arm. So an orange, if you like, a small orange under each arm. Don't let it close. Okay. So movement 3, we start with movement 3. Now I'm actually going to come, so I'm directly in front of you. So hopefully that will be more clear. Okay. So movement 3 is we turn in the waist, and as we turn the waist, the palm flips over and raises. So you can just play with that one exercise a few times. So we don't want to lift and then turn, or turn and then lift. The two go together. So think of everything as connected As you turn your waist, you turn your hand. That's 1. Good. Feed across into the shoulder, then the elbow, unfold to hand and fingertips. That's 2. Release hand, shoulder and hip, and let the hand come down to about waist height. 3. Palm facing forward and feed across. I've mucked up the numbers, but anyway, feed across to here. Okay, so it's movement 3 here. Movement 4, come across. Movement 1, release. And movement 2, come across. Now I'm going to come closer. Hopefully that will make it clear. So 3, 4. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Relax your arms. 2. Let them float in the air. Turn. 3, 4. Very good. Turn. 1, 2. Turn center. Feed across. Turn center. Feed across. Very good. Now, we are shifting our weight. So here we'll be more in the left leg. And now we shift across more into your right leg. Turn and feed across. Turn and feed across. And you can do as many of these as you like. What I tend to do, I keep going until my other hand starts to feel uncomfortable, and then I change. So let's do that. We bring the other hand out. We take one hand to waist. We're fully twisted here. The thumb edge is completely down, and release. And feed across. So we touch the center line and turn. And feed across. And turn. And feed across. Palm faces down. Palm faces out. Relax your shoulders. Now be careful not to turn already. So in this position, you should be facing the front. Yes. So everyone, when they first learn, goes too far. So slide across, we're facing front. And now you turn, and that guides the arms. And feed across. Again, we're square, but our weight is more on your left foot. Turn. Feed across. More into your right. Turn. Feed across. More into your left. Excellent. Turn. Square up. Good. Better. Turn. If I go back again, square up. See my feet. And turn. Square up. And turn. Square up. Very good. Now, I tend to spend a lot of time with this first silk railing exercise with people because it is a really useful fundamental building block. It really helps us just get to grips with the idea of silk railing. And it's complex enough. It looks simple. It's 4 movements, but the body is a very complex thing. So we want to remain very relaxed, but keep the structure of the body. So if my center moves, my arm moves with. If one thing moves, everything moves. If one thing stops moving, everything stops moving. Very good. Okay. And close. Good. So now let's go over to one side of the room, and now we will add the arms and the legs. together. Okay. So I want you to use your left arm first. So actually, can we go that way? Over here. Yeah. I would turn my back on you, but I'm concerned you would then not be able to see what my hands are doing. And that worries folks at the beginning. So feet together, we lengthen up, chin down and back, release, relax, down. Release belly, hips, knees. We're going to take the right hand to waist. Left hand extends forwards to touch your center line. Look left, step. So we turn, feet across, and when we're halfway, we start to step in. Turn, feet across, and as you cross the halfway line, we step, turn, come in. So you step as soon as you humanly can, but you can't step on a foot that has weight on it. So you have to wait until it's 50-50. You're crossing the border of 50-50, and then you can start to shift the foot. Good. Let's change arms. Change direction. Halfway, you can step, turn, shift across, step. Very good. Turn, shift across, and step. Turn. Good. Change arms. My advice is don't think about it. Just let it flow. Change arms one more time. And rest. Beautiful. Well done. So that is single hand silk railing and single hand stepping. And these are lovely building blocks, as I say, so you can practice just the legs. Please do practice just the legs. Often I think people bulk, they don't like the idea of practicing simple exercises. It feels like we've been brought back to kindergarten, that we're made to go into the really little people's practice. But actually, if you do practice, you get strong legs, you get good coordination, you get good mind-body awareness. It's all there. So you can just practice that little turn and step and turn and step in, turn and step, turn and step in. Just practice the legs. Then you can practice one arm. So you can feel the 4 stages up the back, along the arms to the fingertips, back up the arm to the waist, down to the waist, back to center. So you can practice those 4 stages, making sure that you don't overturn. You're square and you turn. You're square and you turn. Square, turn. Square, turn. And then when you've got it all together, step, turn, square, turn, square, turn, square, etc. Good. So you might notice that when we add the arms, You're square, you turn, you square, you turn, you square, you turn. With the legs, I just had you turning, turning, turning. I'll think about that one. So step, turn, glide across, step, turn. Yeah, you could do it. Glide across, step, turn, glide across, step, turn. You could do it that way. We'll maybe do it that way next week. I just want you to get the feeling that you are doing something with your center when you're stepping, that it's not just using your legs. It's not this. You're not doing this in Tai Chi. That's leg work. And that's not Tai Chi because we want to move from center. So basics still, we're working on Chen style. We want to build up. I'd like this semester to look at Laojia, but first we want to really get the silk reeling under our belts, because it's the basics and it's something that we'll be able to go back to again and again, which then when we do the form work will be very enjoyable. It'll make sense of it. So it's rather like I'm asking you to do lines just to get your handwriting nicely, and then we can start writing in sentences. Good. So let's finish off, please, with similar to our warm-up, but I like to go a wee bit higher, but more enthusiastic, and just give everything a good pat. So pat your center. Let's pat our shoulders. Good, pat down through the legs. This is another lovely way to get the energy to flow, is to give the body a little bit of a pat. Good. And we're going to do a lovely exercise called 100 ailments go away. It translates from Bai Bing Xiao, literally 100 problems smaller. So we're going to lift the arms and flop the wrists. Notice I'm keeping them a bit in front. And like a puppet on a string, I'm bouncing on my heels and let the arms pump and bounce. So if you can't, you see the way I'm actually hitting the ground with my heels, that's good for bones. But if you prefer, you can do the gel cushion version where you're not quite hitting the ground, you're just bouncing, and relax down. And within a few seconds of doing that, you will feel, whew, you have worked. Now we stand and listen to that beautiful, tingling, bubbling energy flowing through our bodies. Let's gather the energy up and cover center. Hug your elbows gently in and breathe into your belly. Feel the touch of your hands flowing into your center and feel your energy is stronger. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. Relax down and let's salute. You've done really well today, folks. Thank you so much. Please do stick with the basics because each week we will be building more and more basics together. And before long, you will have all the tools that you will need to make some really beautiful Tai Chi practice and very enjoyable and complex movements, or apparently complex movements, but actually it all comes down to adding basics together. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Good job.